This morning I went to church to see two kinds of talk. First was the branch president, who was a successful president. A piece of land, a lot has been purchased, and there is a new chapel on the board in the hall of the house they rent now. So there is something going on very good. But a member of the stake presidency went there because it was branch conference, and he said that stake presidency have been doing everything they can that branch can have its new chapel and become a ward, but that won't happen if the congregation there doesn't help them. They need to have all the visits 100% done and all the tithing paid, because if they don't do that, they have plans to make better arrangements for another ward. You know what I mean? This branch president that took office and did this wonderful job, his talk was about, when you are offended, how you can forgive, and how you can clean your soul and your heart. And this kind of talk has been attracting people to the branch. And then this member of the stake presidency comes with threatenings, like talking about numbers, about tithing. It's no problem talking about tithing, but in a way that if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, we're going to give this benefit to a neighboring ward. I think this branch president will have a lot of hard work now to undo all that this stake presidency member did this morning. We're not worried about building another chapel. This is not the point. The point here is preaching the gospel. That is the best thing that can happen to anybody. And of course, that if you have a congregation and you meet in a house, rented house, if this congregation gets big, they will need a chapel, and it's their responsibility to build a chapel. As soon as they feel that they need to build their own chapel, they will say, well, that's why the tithing is for. Offers, the other money you give to the poor. The problem is that this stake presidency member, he was not talking from himself. He was talking like that because he was told to do it by his superior in the church. The members today left the chapel, left that rented house, with a feeling, maybe, we have to do something, But since this we have to do something is not directed in the right direction, which is relaxing. No, it's like, if you don't do this, this is never gonna happen. So they will soon find that nothing is happening, and they will start blaming each other. And if this branch president, who is very nice, I knew him as a boy, if he can't handle this problem the right way, which I doubt, I think he can, because he's got the Spirit of the Lord. So, well, he's very submissive to the leaders. I don't know. Anyway, this is impairing the church. Você fez? My son in his underwears. So, stop recording. Don't worry, my boy. No problem. You are small enough. You can wear underwears. Você pode ficar de cueca, não tem problema. Ninguém tá vendo. Ou ninguém se importa, você é pequenininho.
Mas eu me importo.
Oh, he says, but I care. I don't want anyone to see me in my underwear.
O que você tá falando?
Que você não quer que ninguém veja você de cueca.
Also in companies.
Or even without a shirt. Okay, come say hello.
Hello.
Liga o ventila.
Ah, nossa, eu preciso de trocar.
Põe o chinelo, Lucas. So, when I see this happening in the church, I say, man, what is happening? But you know, the United States is in a crisis, and their panic is influencing leaders of the church everywhere in the world. Church is becoming a company. The same strategies they use in their companies, in their businesses, they are using in the church. In a company, you're more aggressive. You have to sell. In the church, it's free agency. The same shouldn't happen in the companies. Like, you talk to them about your product and they buy if they want. But it doesn't. There is an urge to have people buy your product so that you can survive. You can get your money to survive. But you know, maybe companies would sell more if they let people decide. If they were not so aggressive. Who knows? But anyway, the gospel is different. You just explain the gospel, talk to them about Joseph Smith, about the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price. They read, and then they start going to church. But if they start going to church and see what I saw this morning, they won't come. The church is different from a company. If you believe it, if you need it, you go. But if you see anything that you don't like, you just don't go. It happens even for old members like me. I had been a member for 10 years. 10 years not much, but it's some long time. When I started not liking what I saw. And I met other people who had been members for longer than I had, and just stopped going to church. Because once leaders start doing what they shouldn't, the church itself starts not being the true church it claims to be, because it says that the leaders are chosen by inspiration of God. Because no God would call a man or a woman to do that. But no, nobody's perfect. Okay, then you let go, like, no problem. But then it happens again. It comes to a point that it happens, something personal against your life. They impair your life. And then you complain, say, hey, that's not correct. And I say, no, it is correct. My duty is to interfere. You say, what? I don't belong to that church anymore not because I don't like the Lord, because I think that the church is in apostasy. So if the Lord is what is important to us, what am I supposed to do? I cannot be a regular member of this church. I go there because my family goes, my children go. I have to be present. But like every Sunday I see this kind of thing. The Church of Christ shouldn't have this kind of thing. It shouldn't only grow because it's nice, because it's good. But the problem is too that our brains were washed with the idea that the church leader is untouchable because he was called of God. He has the mantle, which symbolizes that he's protected. He can't make a mistake, and he does make mistakes. Anointed of the Lord, because of these ideas, which is, it should be correct. It's okay. But they are anointed of the Lord, so when they make a mistake, they should restitute. They should repent. They should say, I'm sorry. They should ask for forgiveness. And no, they've been making mistakes, like one after another. They look at you, they know that some criticizing is coming, so they flee. They don't want to know. Among everybody, they come to you and greet you, hello, how are you? But they don't want to come to you and say, you have some restrictions, don't you? I want to listen to them. Talk to me. They're not courageous enough. Pay tithing, do your visits, otherwise you won't have the money, and the money will go to another ward. In a nutshell, that's what he said. And tithing and visits, it's important to talk about them. But when you have the Spirit, you don't use these things as exchanging commodity or asset. Like in Brazil, we say that if a team is winning, leave it as it is. So why did this stake member threaten them? If they're growing, it's because they must be doing. But you know, that's very human. When it happens that we have some success, the leaders don't want to lose it, and they get carried away and they speak more than they should. I've seen it before. But I've seen it in a company. In the Church of Jesus Christ, you have the help of the Spirit. So these people don't have the Spirit. So they weren't called of the Lord, and the church is not the true Church of Jesus Christ. And the Spirit is not with them. And the Spirit must be available somewhere else. In the first 10 years of membership in the church, I had a conviction that my church was the true Church of Jesus Christ, the good church in the world. What do I have now? Because of these untouchable leaders. But in some way they fear me, I think. It would be so much nicer if we could talk. If the lower part is right, they would say, oh, okay, I stepped on the ball. Stepped on the ball is a Brazilian expression that means, okay, I was wrong. Because when you play soccer, if you step on the ball, you fall. Because the ball is round, so you step on it too. But if they are wrong, or if they're right, they could prove me wrong. They could say, hey Bruno, there's something you're missing. Your reasoning makes sense, but you're forgetting this, and this. And I go, oh, I hadn't thought about that. I'm sorry. Oh no, my, let me cut my hair and start wearing a tie again. But no, it didn't happen. They didn't explain anything to me, and I am lost without a church. A place where you can go and work with people, work in group, teamwork. That's what I like. Please contact me. bruno.ramos@yahoo.com.br